Ken Jennings has annoyed fans with an onstage habit and they want him to stop it. He opened up a recent show talking about a winner and his bad luck in daily doubles. Despite being the favorite Jeopardy host among fans, between him and mayim bialik, fans wish Ken would stop one thing. He starts out each show with a monologue on the current winner. On the March 16 show, Ken, 38, talked about Stephen Webb. Although our champion Stephen Webb is performing very well here on the Alex Trebek stage, his skill at tracking down daily doubles does not seem to be quite at the same level of mastery, he said. Consider this, in his last 3 games, Stephen has not managed to find a single one of the daily doubles available. The host continued, and yet, he won each of those games very convincingly, so take heart, Andrew and Sarah, he's very good, but the key to defeating him may lie in the 3 daily doubles in the game ahead. Sadly, after his 8-day winning streak, Stephen lost to Kelly Barry on March 17. Just stop. Critical fans complained about his habit online. Wish Ken would stop bringing that up every time he introduces this guy, said one viewer. You know, I like both hosts for different reasons. But I didn't care for the remark Ken made at the start of tonight's show. Rude, just rude, wrote another social media user. A third asked, does Ken not like Stephen? Why does Ken keep coming for Stephen during every intro? Asked an Instagram user. I love the show and I like both hosts but I have the same response to Ken tonight. He did it last night as well, complained another person. To that, someone replied, agreed, I cringed when Ken made that comment. Was a bit taken aback by Ken's opening comment re Stephen's lack of skill at finding daily doubles. He pulled it out with a salute at the end but man, that middle part was kind of harsh. Sure wiped the smile off Stephen's face. Felt for him. I am sure it was scripted but dang. Onto the game. Sorry some of you are missing it, said one last fan. Web crash. Stephen admitted he hit a wall after losing on Friday. He went home with $184,000 and 8 wins under his belt. The champion posted on Reddit that he hit a wall and was happy for his victor Kelly. The returning champ faced Kelly, a marketing communications specialist from Seattle, Washington, and Mark Bernstein, a retired solution architect from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Stephen is a data scientist from Longmont, Colorado who returned when mayim's 3-week teen tournament concluded on March 16, so his first day back on screen was the day after. Ken also returned to host his run, but what viewers may not have realized is Friday's episode was taped the same day as this entire week. As a result, Stephen was up against a grueling task, winning 6 games in a single tape day, instead of the typical 5. For his 5th game in a row, which Ken has no hesitancy shading, Stephen also found none of the all-too-important daily doubles. Stephen had a narrow edge going into Final Jeopardy with $12,600 whereas Kelly had $11,600 and Mark $4,000. Final Jeopardy under statehood read, Congress relented in 1890 after this prospective state said it would wait 100 years rather than come in without the women. Only Kelly was correct with Wyoming, and she added $3,000 to beat the streak with $14,600, looking so happy as she was declared the new champ. Stephen plummeted to $1,999 just shaking his head but graciously clapped and he will return for the 2023 Tournament of Champions. For over a decade, Jeopardy! Fans have tuned in to watch the iconic quiz show's brilliant contestants battle their wits with the help of a trusted and familiar face behind the podium. After the legendary Alex Trebek's passing, Ken Jennings stepped in as the show's permanent host, bringing his wit, charm, and experience as one of the most beloved champions in Jeopardy! History. But now, after several months of hosting, fans have started to notice something off about Jennings' demeanor. What was once viewed as endearing and humorous by some has now been met with criticism and confusion. Many have started to demand that the seasoned host stop a certain onstage habit, one that some believe is rude and disrespectful to the contestants. It's not his questions or his attitude, but rather his habit of over-explaining answers and frequently interrupting contestants during their responses. The growing backlash. The issue first became apparent in the midst of the popular Jeopardy! Tournaments, where fans were able to see more of Jennings in action, especially as he took on the role of an occasional referee, monitoring the competitive dynamics between the players. Viewers started to notice that Jennings, while maintaining his trademark charm, often interrupted contestants mid-answer or seemed to over-explain answers that were already clear. It began as a few whispers in online forums, but over time, it escalated into a widespread discussion on social media platforms and Jeopardy! Fan blogs. One fan took to Twitter, writing, "Ken is a great guy, but he's gotta stop interrupting the contestants mid-answer. It feels dismissive and honestly a little rude. Let them speak and finish their thoughts before jumping in with a comment or a correction. Other viewers echoed similar sentiments, with many expressing frustration over the Jeopardy! Host's habit of interrupting contestants as they confidently revealed their answers. Often, Jennings would cut them off or give a side comment, leaving the contestant looking somewhat flustered. It seems like he doesn't have enough faith in the contestants to get the answer right without his commentary, another fan added. It's a habit that doesn't fit Jeopardy's tone of respectful competition. As the discussion gathered steam, several Reddit threads were dedicated to dissecting Jennings' hosting style, with some fans coming up with the theory that the interruptions were a result of his own desire to control the pacing of the game. Jeopardy! Is a fast-paced show, and with the constantly ticking clock, there's pressure for the host to maintain the momentum. However, it seems Jennings' interruptions go beyond the necessary on-the-fly corrections or prompts. Instead, they appear as his unsolicited commentary on the answers, which has caused some viewers to feel that he's overstepping his role. The reactions from contestants. Though the fans were speaking out about Jennings' behavior, the contestants who had been part of the episodes in question seemed to brush off the interruptions and over-explaining. Some, however, have since spoken candidly about their experiences with the Jeopardy! Host. In an exclusive interview, one contestant from the latest Jeopardy! Tournament of Champions revealed that while Jennings is undoubtedly knowledgeable, he does have a tendency to interrupt mid-answer. It's a little jarring when you're in the middle of trying to answer, and then Ken jumps in with a comment, they said. He means well, and I know he's trying to help, but it can be a bit overwhelming when you're already under pressure. Another contestant, who wished to remain anonymous, spoke on the condition that they wouldn't be named. I have the utmost respect for Ken. He's been a part of this show for so long, and it's clear that he cares about the integrity of Jeopardy! But sometimes it feels like he doesn't trust us to get the answer right without him stepping in. It's almost like he's second-guessing us. These sentiments were not just limited to one-off comments. A few contestants have posted about the experience on their personal blogs, noting that while they understood that interruptions can sometimes be necessary for the sake of clarity, Jennings' frequent side comments began to feel like distractions from the true purpose of the game, allowing contestants to answer questions. The fans speak out. As the criticism grew louder, a group of fans began to organize online petitions asking for a change in Ken Jennings' hosting style. They weren't asking for a new host, but rather a shift in his approach to allowing contestants more space to answer without interference. "We're not asking Ken to be less himself," one petition organizer said. "We just want him to respect the contestants more and give them room to speak." Several high-profile Jeopardy! Superfans also took to podcasts and YouTube channels to discuss their frustration with the habit. "We've watched Ken for years, and we know he's a great guy. But there's something off about his interruptions that feels like he doesn't trust the contestants," one fan said during a Jeopardy! Analysis podcast. "He's known for his wit, but it doesn't always land when he's cutting people off in the middle of their responses." Others have argued that Jennings' over-explanation of answers is another aspect that could use some re-evaluation. Fans of the show, who take pride in their deep knowledge of trivia, have found the added commentary unnecessary, often feeling as though Jennings believes the audience isn't capable of understanding the answers without further clarification. The show's response. Jeopardy! Producers have remained tight-lipped about the growing fan outcry, but a spokesperson for the show did issue a statement addressing the concerns. Ken Jennings has been a tremendous asset to the Jeopardy! Team. His hosting style is authentic and rooted in his years of experience on the show, both as a champion and as a host. We appreciate the feedback from our audience and will continue to work to improve the viewing experience for all of our fans. Despite the statement, no immediate changes have been announced. Jennings himself has not publicly commented on the criticism, though he has continued his duties as host, maintaining his usual style of engaging with contestants and providing lighthearted banter during the show. The future of Ken Jennings on Jeopardy! While it's unclear whether Jennings' on-stage habit will change, it's evident that Jeopardy! Fans are passionate about the direction they'd like to see the show take. For many, the show's success lies in its balance of respectful competition and its ability to allow contestants to shine without interference. Fans have expressed their love for the show, its legacy, and its future, hoping that their concerns are heard. The question remains, will Ken Jennings modify his hosting style to accommodate fan concerns, or will he continue as he has, believing that his commentary enhances the experience? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, Jeopardy! Viewers will continue to demand the best for their beloved game show, and they're willing to speak out to ensure it stays true to its legacy.